Thanks for your patience, everyone. We will get started now. Okay, so you have a graph and you want to maximize the things that look like that. Okay, maximum possible number. It's gonna be one of those TURAN type things again. Oh jeez. Okay, so why 120? Do they want it to be divisible or by like 4 or 6 or something? Seems like 4 would be the okay, so what are ways I can get a weak quartet? What if I like, for example, have a clique, so like KN and then a bunch of. Oh, okay, here, how about this? What if I have like K 40, 40, 40? That one's pretty good, right? Because you can pick any edge. Yeah. If you have K 40, 40, 40, then that gives you can 3 times 40 choose 2 times 40 times 40. And actually, for all constructions that form K, A, B, C. Sorry, 40, 40, 40 is not what I want to say. I mean like K 40 union, this one union 3 times. Thank you, Learning Balance, for the follow. It's just, it's oh wait, never mind. I thought it was somehow the year was 2007, and I was like, why don't they just use 2007? But it's sorry, it's 2002. And that will get me 3 times that. 3 times 40 cubed times 39 over 2, and it's like optimal. What about 60 disjoint edges? Okay, if we have 60 disjoint edges, then there's 60 ways to pick an edge. Wow, I completely missed all the chat about the SAT, and maybe that's a good thing. So you pick an edge, and then you have 100. Well, okay, it's like 118 choose 2, and then except you can't pick any of the remaining 59 edges. Is that larger? It looks like it might be close, actually. The numbers look kind of... So this is equal to 60 times 118, 59 times 117 minus 59, so it's like 60 times 59 times 116. This is 117 times 20 times 40 squared, I guess is an easy way to think. Okay, so I think the K40, 40, 40 is better. Maximum. So, the last time I saw a problem that felt like a TURAN to me, I really went at it, and it turned out to be completely the wrong thing to do. That was you. Those of you who've been following the stream for a long time might remember Canada 2020, which we basically just like ran ourselves into a wall over and over trying to do something and not getting anywhere. Now here we are. All right, so there's still some more proposed constructions, so let's try them out. You know, there's a lot of ones that look like they're plausible. So if I just have K60 with a bunch of vertices outside it, try them all, right? There's no reason not to. So that is 60 choose 2, and then times 60 choose 2. which is 60 times 59, or let's just say 30 times 59 squared. The only reason I'm writing out the numbers out in weird forms is so that it's easier for me to see which ones are larger. I don't think the forms I'm writing them in are particularly useful. Oh, that's gonna be close. I don't actually know which. Ah, 59. 64. Hey, is this bigger? You think I should just calculate the numbers? Okay, let's just calculate the numbers. This number is, so 32000 times 117, and now I can use my rarely applicable talents. 3132900. Okay, so the first one's slightly larger. Someone check my arithmetic, because I actually did not use a calculator for that. Yep, the abacus time, right? Yeah, so top is larger. But I'm actually surprised how close the K60 with some vertices left over is. If you split into n complete, well, if you want to split into complete graphs, actually, is that worse? Is that necessarily worse? Oh man, the problem is 120 is divisible by so much stuff that you have to check a lot of things. Okay, let's keep trying things. I just want to get a feel for, because they're so cheap to check, like they only take a few minutes each, I think it makes sense to just try like 5 or even like 10 examples so that we're pretty confident we know where the best one is. So if I do 4 complete graphs, say K30s, oh, is that big? That's actually really bad. I thought it would be, really? Is that large? Okay, so I pick one place and then 4 times 30, choose 2, and then times 90. Oh, that is larger. Choose 2 minus 3 times 30, choose 2. That is actually, that does look like it's going to be. Because if this works, if this turns out to be larger than the 3K40s, then we really should start trying all the examples of the form. There's multiple complete graphs. 5K24 is even larger. Oh, jeez. Okay, well. Oh, the pencil's out of battery. Okay, do you guys actually want me to practice the mental arithmetic, or do you guys just want to see what's going on? Okay, here's the actual question though. What if I have just n k things? So if I look at, in general, n times so actually I want n to be the number of vertices. It's easier to express that way. I'm just, yeah, somehow I expected yeah, this is the general situation. If you guys are telling me that n equals 24 is optimal, I'll take your word for it, because maybe it's not so interesting for me to bash numbers on the stream. So let's say that n equals 24 is actually the best one. And that means you have K24. Let me do it this way. 5 cliques. And then K24 5 copies. Okay, in this case, I'm willing to say I bet the actual number is no longer important. Like there's problems where when you have an equality case, like the forward and the bound and construction don't look that similar. And what ties them together is actually the quantity. Like there's some natural interpretation in the quantity. But in this case, this number, whatever it comes down to, doesn't feel like a natural result to me. It feels like we should write down a proof that makes 5 cliques, or really just some cliques, the optimal situation. So anyways, let's write down our best current record is K24 5 times. And it will give us some number, and I don't know what that number is, but I think this feels to me like a situation where the exact number isn't important. It's the equality case that's important, because there's no good other interpretation of that number that I can see right now. K24. Oh, okay. Thanks for the constant. Number of quartets is 4769280. And now, yeah, that 120 was good. They totally baited me. I thought it was going to be either 3 or 4 divisibility that mattered, but it was the 5. You needed to be divisible by 5. What are some American geo prompts that aren't by you? Look at like most geo from... Actually, that's not true. One thing you can look for is problems by Anant Mudgal often have that same flavor as me. So you can look at Iran, India, are places where you might find problems like that. Okay, so we have what we think are equality cases. So let's move out from there. So according to Twitch chat, this is about 58%. It breaks down for 5 people. I don't find that surprising, like TURAN type things. Or I wouldn't be surprised if the shape of the proof was to show that you wanted a TURAN, like a complement of a TURAN graph of some sort or something. Basically, one idea is that you try to show that the optimal situation should be when there's a bunch of separate cliques, and go from there. Because once you know that, then you can do this calculation and try 4, 5, 6 or whatever. 60 K2s, yeah. 60. So actually every construction we've tried is of the form like a bunch of cliques. Okay, so I'm trying to remember. We know how to do this problem if we replace exactly 1 pair with exactly 0 pairs, because exactly 0 pairs is TURAN's like you want max is TURAN's theorem. No, it's not. No, sorry. What am I talking about? Sorry, that's just wrong. Ignore what I said. Oh no, don't invert the combo. Yeah, I had the same thought. So, like, what's weird about 4? Like, how can we count things with... I had a dumb thought that maybe we could, like, literally try to enumerate all the possible shapes of things on 4 vertices. Like, there's one edge, there's two touching edges, there's two non-touching edges, but that seems too stupid. I hope that's not what you're supposed to do. Um, so... Don't try to run. Yeah, don't try to run. So what do I want to do? Do I want to like sum by the edge or something? I would count K4, K3 in complement. Every weak quartet there are 2 K3. In K4 there are 4 K3. Hmm. Hmm. I feel like I really need something to go off of. I can't just sit here and stare. But I don't. What's your advice on how to not sit and stare? Um, what is my advice? We can think about. You can try to do what are sort of like the soft techniques. I think the more you're stuck, the more you want to lean towards soft techniques instead of things you think will solve the problem outright. So what should I be doing now? I think one thing I might want to do now is Rather than weak quartets, maybe I try to think about how do I do the problem if it's weak triangles instead. And if it's weak triangles, then well, if it's weak triangles, you can actually do you take the complement, so you're like trying to max that, and then the quantity is actually exactly equal to the sum of the degrees choose 2 minus, so the triangles get counted a bunch of times and you don't want that, 3 times the number of triangles. Which I don't actually know offhand how to optimize, but it looks a little bit better than what was there before. I don't know if it helps though. If we think the equality case is when they're all cliques, okay, how many different shapes are there when you have just on 4 vertices? So this is the main one, this is the weak quartet. Then there's there's a lot, right? There's completely empty, that, trying to think if there's a way we can do something similar to what I have in red, where it's like you mostly double count one thing, but then you subtract, yeah, I'm actually going to say that I think it's harder to think about if you do, like, what's the complement of this thing? The complement of this is, it's a bow tie. Um, Thank you, Electric, for the follow. Or sorry, that's not a bow tie, but it's like two triangles that are glued together. So maybe what I want to do is it's like sum across edges VW. If we take the complement division, is sum across edges VW of like the number of common choose 2, number of common neighbors, and then this counts a bunch of times k4s, so you can subtract 6 times the number of k4s. Like that is a correct representation, right? If I take the complement, this is what I'm looking at. And that's a little interesting because it's sort of like minus 6k4. Vertex cloning. Okay, well, I don't know the vertex cloning proof, so it's possible this is going to be... I mean, if that's the only solution, we're in trouble. Okay, well, I'm trying to go double counting, but I'm really having a tough time here. It's sort of weird because it's like you actually really want to have... It seems like you really should want to have most of the edges until somehow the 6k4 term becomes really, really large. How long did it take you to do every IMO problem 2000 plus? I mean, it's not like I solved all of them. I was spoiled on some of them, but for me to learn the solutions to all of them, I finished sometime about a year ago. USA TST 2019 one? What was it? I don't even remember. The Geo? I think that was fine. Okay, anyways, what am I supposed to do? Like, the other idea I had, which is kind of bad, is like, if you add an edge, what changes? Like... Thank you, Elton Santana, for the follow. Thank you, UCBICP. No, UCBICPC for the follow. Somehow I thought that was 6 letters, and then I was like, Like, what's the effect of adding a marginal edge? It feels really hard to deal with, actually. If I add a marginal edge, then you lose any quartet that had that. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It seems better to actually delete a vertex if you're gonna go deletion, but I don't know. I would need like an actual... In order to do an induction type proof, I would want to know that the answer is like something I can actually induct on. But because the small case is not what we expect it to be, I'm not totally sure that will work. It could still work, like it could be a TURAN type thing where the answer kind of fluctuates based on n mod 4 or 5. But... Let me just draw it and see what happens. So you have a blob here, it's like G minus a vertex. Let's say I deleted some conveniently chosen vertex. So you have the bound for G minus V, and then this guy was adjacent to some things. So the number of weak quartets I gain is equal to Yeah, this is really hard to control though, right? Like, I don't... Yeah, that's really bad. I don't think I can push this through. Hmm. Okay, and it's not... It doesn't look good. Um... I actually do feel like the two touching triangles is a lot easier to think about than the weak quartets in some way. Like, it's more clear to me that the force you're fighting is that the K4s are cost you a lot, and otherwise you mostly want to have a lot of edges. Um, but thank you, Quant Engine, for the follow. Yeah, yeah, I actually just don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Like, I just don't see a way I can get it bound. Uh, I feel like I just don't have a foothold. Like, I know, I think it should be some way trying to show that you want them to be cliques. I don't know if it's not true that you would just always want to divide by five into five equally sized cliques, right? Like, even with, say, if I have like 20 people instead of... Or like if you have five people, for example, you definitely don't want to split into five equally sized groups because then you have no edges at all. For 10, I'm not even sure. If I have 10, then if you split it into just five edges, that seems to me like it might be maybe it's not worse. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so for even for 20, 4K5s is apparently better. So it's so it should be some argument where you try to show that it's you push to cliques, in the sense that maybe what you say is like, okay, I don't know, but I can't think of an argument, a way to try to do an argument that will let you go to cliques. Like you would want to say something like, suppose I have yeah, suppose you have a guy like that, and then maybe you want to show that you prefer to add in that edge, because when you add in that edge, I don't know, but that doesn't seem good. Like there's no reason adding that edge. I think should give you more weak quartets than you had before, because you lose every weak quartet that yeah. So what? Like I don't see any good way to do a global count, and I don't see any way to make a small change. So unfortunately, the two things I rely on the most are both just not doing anything here. Um, how do I get over the medium geo hump? I don't know. Read more EGMO? You haven't found mistaken EGMO? Shoot me an email. You're probably right. There's so many misprints in that book. Guys, help me do the C7. Where otherwise today's stream will be so sad. We just like don't solve anything. Oh, I mean, there's not much to get lost about. Like, we just don't have anything. Like, we think we think the equality case is to take 5 copies of K24, and we don't have anything else. Um, okay. Why TF? Why is it 5? But the problem is that it's not 5 for general. Like, even for the number 20, it's not the best is not 5. Um, so for 60 plus, the best is 5. Jesus. Like, all right. Yeah, I know. You want multiples of 20 so you don't have integer rounding issues. But it's so weird that even for 20, like 20 is a big enough number, I would think that the edge cases go away, but they don't. It's like, turning 20 is not big enough. So, I 20 is a big number. I mean, the problem is, I think the smaller cases, like, I think small n is not helpful. I think if you want to go small cases, you work it out for weak triangles first. Which I kind of wrote down the same expression, like this sum degree minus 3 times the number of triangles. I don't know, I don't actually know how you do that either, to be honest. Um, that's sort of like, if I want to do small cases, I think that's the one I would go after. Thanks, Fish Bob, for the follow. Because it's sort of because when I look at this problem, I see no reason why 4 should be that special. Like maybe it's just, no, why not 3? Um, Okay, I think we're just... Alright, I don't know if people actually still want to do this because it doesn't seem like people are trying that hard either. I have a proposal. Do you guys want to look up the cloning proof of TURAN and see if that idea helps us? Because I actually just don't know this cloning proof, but I feel like I should. Okay, let's learn how TURAN cloning works. Somehow I searched TURAN cloning and I don't get the result I want. How do I search all this up? What? Cloning vertices. Da, 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 da. That's not... No, what? Okay, does anyone happen to know where to find this? I'm kind of sad. Cloning vertices. Okay. Alright, sure. Then deleting Y and cloning X. So I delete a vertex and then clone it. Oh wait, this looks very good. This is what I want. This is definitely... Okay. Huh. Okay. We can run with that. Alright, I think that's enough of a hint. This is not well known. Well, we learned something new today. I don't know, man. Okay, so suppose we'll go as the thing says, and then suppose that we have this shape. I mean, I guess the reason I'm willing to do this is because if I don't, I think we're probably just gonna sit here and stare, and that's probably not very educational. I want to at least pretend I'm trying to teach you something. Okay, so the idea is that what happens if I delete y and clone x? Which things change? So actually, this doesn't seem that good as good. I mean, I wonder if I should. No, actually, I think I don't want to delete y. Y doesn't seem like a. Also, these labels suck. Um, X, Y, Z. Okay, so the idea is, let's say I delete X and clone Z. So I now have another copy of Z adjacent to the same things. So when I destroyed, maybe I want to clone Y actually. I think cloning Y is a little better. And then maybe I even leave that edge in. Wait. Sorry, I'm being confused. Do I want to change any of the connections? Well, okay. If I want if I want to get down to cliques, then I should assume that I have this shape. This is the bad shape, and I want to. I might not even need to change any of these connections here, right? Instead, what I can do is well, I mean, I do want this edge to be here because otherwise I'm not really making progress. I'm very confused now. So if XZ is missing and then I kill it, I want to kill something and then replace it with a clone. Oh man. Like, okay, so the XX can't be in a weak quartet. So no weak quartets involved this edge anyways, right? Because, or sorry, no, wait, well, maybe I don't want to do this. I actually want to delete edges, right? Is easier because weak quartets. Basically, I want to do some cloning such that the number of weak quartets goes up. And I don't know how to do it. I think it's not good. I also just don't know how the cloning procedure should go, so I'm a little confused. Like, suppose this Z was in some weak quartet, right? Like, the Z was like. Well, then the one for Z goes away. But I get one for X instead. So There might have been weak quartets that involve both Z and X is the problem, and I kind of want to make it less. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sorry, guys. Uh, okay. Well, let's say like every weak quartet that involved Z but not X, you know, they flip like that, but also for X. Like there might have been weak quartets. Um, so one of them has at least as many weak quartets as the other. Let's say X and Z has at least. Um, so if I do this, then the number of weak quartets, I at least that doesn't involve both X and Z doesn't change. Um, this seems a little bad. I really feel like I want to do this the other way. Like, if I clone X, if X was in more, what happens to all the weak quartets that involve both of them? Maybe I had a weak quartet that looked like. Well, okay, there's no edge here, so there must have been either an edge out like that or an edge that wasn't there to begin with, and so it doesn't really matter. Um, see, the problem is I don't really do anything other than change. It changes the graph a little, like there's fewer degrees of freedom, but I'm not sure it's better. But I guess there's no reason not to do it. So anytime I have this picture, I can make it so that one vertex is a clone of the other. Because yeah, there's some number for Z and there's some number for X, and then whichever one is bigger, I use that as the cloner. Okay, so if I do that, then I have this picture now where I've cloned things, and so every vertex is either adjacent to both or isn't adjacent to either of them. Which really makes it seem like I should add in this edge now. Like now it seems like I should be able to add in this edge because that is like an egregious violation of the transitive property I want. If I add in that edge, some things cease to be weak quartets. I don't know what they are. Um, use SOMO. Uh, oh, I should take out that command, yeah. Yeah, okay, let me just take out that command now. If I have a clone vertex, and I add in that edge, then What? So I gain a number of things equal to like that number, choose 2. And then I lose a number of weak quartets equal to however many random edges there were, I guess. So there were some weak quartets. Wait, does this just work? Wait, I think this literally just works because um, when I add in the edge, the number of things I get is equal to the number of outsiders choose 2 minus edges in outsiders. What the frick? This just works? Wait, am I crazy? Does this actually work? Okay, let me make sure. Let me make sure I'm not crazy. So the argument is first, if I have a non-transitive, um, if x is adjacent to y is adjacent to z, but x is not adjacent to z, then I can I can not lose any you look at the number of weak quartets that involve x, the number of weak quartets that involve z, and the number of weak quartets that involve both. The ones that involve both will contribute to one of the counts and not the other. And then you clone one of them such that the number doesn't decrease. And you can do this because it's sort of like there's um, for every weak quartet, there's exactly one of x or z clone that preserves it. So I do that cloning, and now I have 2 copies of x. And if I have 2 copies of x, I have this very egregious violation of my transitive. It's like, there are 2 copies of vertex but not adjacent. So now I connect them, and you gain a number of weak quartets equal to the number of outside vertices like that, choose 2, minus a penalty for every weak quartet you killed. And the number of weak quartets you killed is equal to the number of edges in the outsiders. But this is non-negative for obvious reasons. So now I can add in that edge, and so why does this procedure always terminate? Because this doesn't necessarily. This is a 2-step procedure. It's possible that it never increases the number of weak quartets, but it should improve the transitivity. I'm not sure what I mean by that. I need to show this terminates, and then I'll be done. I mean, the only way this doesn't increase the number of weak quartets is if somehow I already had a clique, like the outsiders were a clique. And if the outsiders are a clique, can I just kind of induct them and remove them? Well, if the outsiders are a clique, then nothing changes when I do that. So in here, when I did this cloning, this cloning sort of happens in this box that I can isolate from the rest of the environment. And then outside. Yeah, so the only situation is if it's a clique, and I don't know. Maybe I can argue that this increases the number of triangles. That would be a cute way to save face. So we can order the configurations by number of weak quartets, comma, number of triangles, and claim that this goes up. And This requires a bit of care. Okay, so if I killed Z and cloned X, um, if it didn't go up, then there's, oh no, but the clique shows up afterwards. Frick. Yeah, this clique might be afterwards. Um, but it should terminate, right? Yeah, in order for it to not terminate, you need to have... So, if I ever do this operation and the number of weak quartets does not increase, that means I created a clique, and I can zoom in onto that smaller area. Man, what did I miss in the chat? I was just trying to finish this argument. Then I can zoom in on that area and keep going. And the only way I get stuck is... I don't know when I get stuck. Oh, I feel like I'm so close. But ...2019 AMCA problem 1. Once I finish this, I've done 1959 IMO 1, sorry. No, I'm so close. I'm worried that this procedure might never terminate. Why might it terminate? If two vertices get cloned, if I clone this X, is it ever possible to kind of break that clone? Yes, right? Because I could like maybe if there's an edge hanging off here, then I do this procedure and then I end up overriding that vertex. So... Wait, actually, something is really weird. Hang on. Really? So... Wait, I think I miscalculated. I feel like I should have miscalculated this. If I clone, like... okay. That's like saying that these two graphs have the same number as if I finish the clique. Like, it's like if I randomly delete an edge from the equality case, somehow it's still... Data calculator, what are you doing? Okay, timeout. I feel like that's wrong though. Like, it should not be the case that I can just delete one of the edges and still get the same equality case. So what did I miss? Let me just draw this. I have this drawn. Let me look at it again. Oh, no, I'm actually stupid. This is not outsider choose 2, right? This is the number of weak quartets I gain is... Okay, so this is actually not going to work as written. Minus non-out... Yeah, it felt too good to be true. This is non-edges. So this is not obviously non-negative. Oh, no, no. What is the new game? Limiter. Um, man, I feel like I'm so close though. Well, now I don't feel close anymore because I just screwed up the outside. Um, so I feel like this cloning thing is still good because it makes this particular pair a lot cleaner, but it might not be enough that I can just kill the problem outright. Can you show us the link to the cloning proof thing? Yeah. Um, Wait, okay. Something just occurred to me actually, now that I'm looking at this. Which is I did a stupid cloning thing, but I don't really think I need to. I did this cloning thing with XYZ, but I actually don't think I need to do that. I think I just clone vertices like period, right? Like I never actually like used Y. I was okay. What the heck? It's just any two non-adjacent vertices, I can clone one of them? That can't be right. Okay, so something's wrong here because I never actually used the fact that there is this vertex Y in this cloning. So this is sort of suggesting that I can like just anytime I have two non-adjacent vertices, I can clone them, and that definitely sounds wrong to me. Um, Wait, okay, so guys, help me out here. What am I doing wrong? Like I didn't actually use the vertex Y, and I wrote down what I thought was a proof that I could clone one of x and z without decreasing the number of weak quartets, which is definitely not true because in our equality case with 5k24s, yeah, that doesn't actually work out. So what did I mess up? When I clone this guy, I destroy every weak quartet involving z, but I gain a weak quartet for everyone involving x, and then the blue ones get distributed also in some way. Am I crazy? Oh no, actually I think the thing I said about the blue ones is just not true, right? If I clone one, okay, so this just doesn't work. Okay. Alright, I tried. Uh, Maybe it's just I want to clone two adjacent vertices. So if I have two vertices x and y that are adjacent, maybe I can just clone them. So you have x and y, and then there's some weak quartets that involve both of them, like that. And there's some weak quartets that involve like one of them, like say that. And then there's some weak quartets that don't involve any, or yeah. And I think what I just do is I just clone x so that it's y, right? Clone. So del x clone y, or del y clone x. One of them will increase it. So the blue ones don't change, but the green one, either I lose all my green ones and get a copy of all the red ones, or I lose all the red ones and get a copy of all the green ones. Sorry, let me scroll so you guys can see this. And that's good for me because it makes the graphs more regular. I keep doing this cloning operation. I can just do this on any edge, right? So, okay. I think this should work. So idea. If two adjacent vertices x and y can clone, delete one and clone the other without changing, without decreasing the number of weak quartets. And if I want this to terminate, then increase the number of triangles. Does this increase the number of triangles? It should. Yeah, this increases the number. This will this increases the number of triangles in the graph, unless the cloning was vacuous. Like as long as there was at least one vertex. No, frick. Shoot. No. Okay, well I tried. This does not decrease the number of triangles. So if I keep doing this cloning procedure, then I'm hoping it terminates. So eventually, I start by replacing this y with this x, and then like the sentiment is that I should eventually be able to keep cloning until eventually I have a complete graph. Does that work at all? I really needed to terminate though. Um, so I have a clone, and then I can repeat that till. Do you know the equality case for cloning? Could you directly derive from there? So it depends on which equality case. So I guess what we can do is like, yeah, actually that's a good idea. We're going to annotate every vertex with the number of weak quartets it's contained in. That it's contained in. And when I just, so for example, here maybe it's like 11, and then here it's like 9. And these could include some of the red ones, or the blue guys. So, you know, there's some, might be some shared ones. But you always clone, you kill the one with the smaller number and then clone it so that you get the bigger number. So when I do this cloning, you know, maybe there were 3 blue ones, 8 green ones, 6 red ones. Well, now I have 8 plus 3 for both of them. So now when you do the cloning, this 9 becomes an 11. And, oh, well, that might screw up the other numbers, I guess. But it shouldn't. All the other numbers go up. So equality occurs. Equality occurs if any pair of adjacent. Yeah, okay. So equality is happening if every adjacent pair of vertices is in the same number of weak quartets. That's actually exactly the equality case. And even if that actually is the equality case, that means that number doesn't change as I keep doing operations. And moreover, when I do those operations, I can pick which vertex I want to do the cloning for. So I keep doing this operation until it's no longer possible. And then, yeah, that should just do it. Because then once all the numbers are equalized in every connected component, the numbers are equal. And then I pick one vertex and then clone it everywhere. And when I clone it everywhere, you'll eventually get a clique, because if I had a connected component and then I clone one vertex repeatedly, now it's just a clique. You know this won't screw up the other numbers, because if the two numbers are equal, when I do the cloning, none of the numbers change, because the number of weak quartets has not changed at all. I think. Yeah, because the actual weak quartets are, no, wait, I think that's wrong. Even if the numbers are the same, if these are both 11, well, I guess the sentiment is that you take a connected component and then you take the largest number and you keep cloning it. And then because I can keep cloning it, that, you know, the numbers keep going up. In a situation where I'm stuck, like if I can't do any operations at all without, you know, you can always do the operation, but it might not increase the number of weak quartets. But if that's the case, that means in every connected component, the numbers are equal, and therefore I can clone however I feel like, and the numbers won't change. Or they might change, but then I can increase the number of weak quartets again. So I do this until the connecting components stabilize. Once the connecting components stabilize, I push everything around. You know, take it one vertex, clone it everywhere, and now I have a clique. Once that's the case, yeah, once I have the cliques, then we can do that calculation that 3VT was doing earlier. And I think that just solves it. So, so do until no longer possible, longer increase. So forget triangles. Do until no longer can increase number of weak quartets? If so, any connected component now has same annotation on each vertex. Then we can keep doing cloning without changing any keep doing cloning until either you get a clique, like the components or numbers change, allowing more increase in weak quartets. So it's sort of this really strange leapfrogging induction. Like you do one thing until it's no longer possible, and you keep doing the other thing, and if the thing you stopped, the main operation stops being possible, or starts being possible, you go up again and then restart. And otherwise, when you terminate twice, there's actually two terminations here. It's like once you terminate twice, then you're at the clique step. And once you're at the clique setup, you're all good. Because once you have cliques, you can now just grind out what the numbers are for 120, which someone very kindly did for me at the beginning of the stream. And that will do it. I hope. If I did make another mistake. I made a lot of mistakes today. It's just not a good day for me. This cloning thing is actually really strong. Alright, we did it. I3 or DWM? I'm on I3. Well, I use I3 for my main account. I actually use XFCE for the... I use a separate user account for the stream. Thanks, Evan Chen is Pro for the chair. Because there I actually need to move windows around in ways that are not full screen. Oh, nice. You found the new 404 problem. Yeah, I put it on the mop homework. I was thinking about putting it on the mop test, but I was worried people might have seen it before. Yeah. So if you're for the people that have been asking me what's my favorite geo problem, that's actually it. Are you still rejecting the CNCM problem? Yeah. As I said, we have a guest today, so I wanted to keep the math a little shorter. 2019. Okay, I'll do the AMC8 and then we can play limiter. How about that? So what is this AMC8 problem you guys want me to do so much? AMC8 2019. Ta-da. Oops, that's the, sorry, that's the, I need just the statement, right? Ike might go to a sandwich shop with a total of 30. Sandwiches cost $4.50 and then use the remaining money to buy soft drinks. So it's just 9, right? Cool, all right.